Hi mates, this is Sebs Rana. So the cliche goes, time heals all wounds. Well, in my case, I have learned that time and growth doesn't only heal all wounds, but it buries a part of ourselves along its path. So the story. When we were young, grew up in my grandmother's home, which is in Osizweni, which is a township in Newcastle. So one day, my brother, who's 2 years older than me, and my two cousins decided that we were going to go into one part of the township to look for potential girlfriends. But on that day, unfortunately, we got caught up in a storm. When we realized that the storm was actually bad, it was already too late. The raindrops had already started coming down, and the rain had developed into a nice rain with thunder and lightning. When we realized that the storm was bad, it was already too late. We had to head towards home. But see, we grew up in a home where a storm was a terrifying ordeal. In the township where we grew up, see, when there is a storm coming, people would hit tins and metal and anything that can make loud noise, because we believed that if there is noise, a storm passes over that place. But in our house, we were terrified of the storm to an extent that we took that to a whole nother level. Not only did we close curtains with blankets and make sure that there was no lightning that get into the house, and cover every reflecting surface, a mirror and shiny silverware or trays. We were not allowed to smile during a storm. We also would burn our unique incense. That incense was a strip of car tire inside the house, because we believed that burning that car tire would alleviate the storm. So you can imagine in this day we were caught in a storm outside. So my brother decided, and my cousins, they said, no, let's just walk fast because we cannot run during a storm. So we walked with fast pace, we were pacing really fast. I decided, I was so terrified of the storm, I wasn't going to play it cool. I peeled off. I started running towards home. And as we were running, at some point, and my brother and my cousins were calling on to me, Sabelo, stop running, you cannot run in a storm. And I ran, even though I wanted to listen to them. At some point, the fear of the storm, the declining road that just made even a slow runner look fast because they're just trying to catch their bodies from falling, that momentum had taken over. I could not stop. We were not the only ones caught in the storm. I was running down the road, there was an old lady that was coming towards me. And I realized that she was coming up crying because she was also scared of the storm. And at that time, there was a lightning that struck in the area. It became so bright, I couldn't see anything. I even tripped and I fell on the road. As I picked myself up, I think my brothers thought the lightning had struck me. They called, stop running. I picked myself up and I continued running towards home. I don't know how I got through the gates at home, but I only remember opening that yellow door and throwing myself into the house. I got in the house, got a blanket that I could find and wrapped myself, drenching wet as I was. My brother got in a few minutes late. We sat at home and my grandmother was alone when I got in. That's when we sat down and we continued with the house tradition of burning a car tire on a candle. It's been over 20 years since this incident happened. And I'm no longer scared of the storm, and I don't even burn, any incense, let alone a car tire, to alleviate storms or anything. And I often wonder how time and growth had buried that storm-scared boy that I once was in its path. Subs the runner out.